from bus stand to the foot track which goes up to Baisaran Valley. It's about 8 to 10 minutes of drive. And there afterwards, it's not a regular track, it's a foot track. And it takes 35 to 40 minutes to climb and reach Baisaran Valley. And as General Malik clarified, there was no police presence in Baisaran Valley for whatever reasons. So terrorists knew, even if someone reacts from the roadhead, it will take minimum 35 to 40 minutes. And they had adequate time to do that and get into the jungle surrounding the Baisaran Valley. That is the one point. And second one was about the defense budget. I just like to put one thing. The only country in the world which has got 2 nuclear neighbors, and both of them are not friendly. So we need to have very robust defense preparedness for defensive as well as offensive purposes. And intentions change overnight. Capabilities take decades to build. We saw it in Operation Sandhu. And third point was about perception management. General Malik very clearly said that we need to do more. And in this, I was asked once as a corps commander in a very high level thing, how do you manage perception? I said our truth must come out before their lies come out. And our lies must come out before their truth comes out. So that's how we manage perception. Time is the...
I think that sets the mood for the conversation. And I can completely endorse what you said, sir. It is coming from the integrity that is so much an essence of this book. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor and pleasure to be among this esteemed audience. It's been a fabulous afternoon so far, such diverse topics and speakers to listen to. And then be in conversation with sir is another level. So thank you so much. We know you are a decorated army officer, but beyond that, you are a thinker and a storyteller. Your first bestseller, the best-selling memo about Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye, gives an unflinching look into your years in uniform. And then the second one takes us beyond the battlefield. So, first and foremost, sir, thank you for writing this book. And congratulations, it's already hitting the milestones of publishing world. So to begin with, what actually sparked writing Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari at the first place? What came as in your mind as an army person? You've already written a good memoir. Then coming to this, because it's essentially about so much values that we talk about. So, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. The first book was not supposed to be Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye. First book, when I started writing, it was for letting the young boys and girls know who see a young, handsome captain, chiseled body, well shaved, well mannered, well groomed, and then they want to marry this man. Or the youngster wants to be in the army and be like this man. So my point of writing the book was, he is a finished product. You know what you are seeing. The raw material is when you go for your SSB. So my aim of writing a book was to let the young boys and girls know what lies behind the four walls of garrison. There is a different family out there who treats you much better than your own family at times, who keeps grooming you, who keeps molding you, who keeps chiseling you. And then the cohesiveness, Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari came much later, but it is there in that family. And your buddy system, you're trying to die for each other. We just saw a young man, getting drowned in a river trying to save a soldier. That is what is there behind the walls. So aim was to write that. When I wrote that and I submitted the manuscript to one of my ex-CEOs, he read it, he said, very nice. He said, but teri story Kashmir ke bagair complete nahi hai. That is when I started writing from, I think, chapter 11, 12 onwards, right up to 23rd chapter. And it became Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye. Now, this book, after having finished that book, and that book became a bestseller during the pre-order stage only, 3 reprints during the pre-order stage, 40,000 copies in first 6 weeks. And then the publisher came to me within a month of release of the book, कि sir, we want to sign a contract for your second book. वैसे जब मैं कोई राइटर नहीं हूँ, फौजी आदमी हूँ, ये लिख दिया बस ठीक है. जैसे नहीं सर, you write. ऐसा किस पे लिखूंगा? जैसे किसी को भी लिखो अभी बिकेगी. Now I signed a contract with them. My first book got released on 14th February 23. I signed a contract, I think, on 3rd March 23 to write the second book. And then I got busy with construction of my house and other things. And finally I started writing the book in October 24 and finished it in March 25, and they published and released it in May 25. And this book was, there's so many military leadership ethos, some spoken, some unspoken. This young man who dived into the river died for an honor code. My men, after the nation comes second, first is my country, second are the men I command, and third, if at all it ever comes in the seniority, is your own self. He dived in that river to save that boy from drowning, and he drowned himself. So these are honor codes, these are ethos, these are traditions, these are regimental, value system. So I thought I must bring it out and tell the corporate world, here is an ocean of, leadership qualities. Please imbibe them into your culture and increase your productivity. So that's how this Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari, from war room to boardroom, from A to Z, is filled with this value system based on real life anecdotes. And the second difference was, first book was on my life, all my personal experiences. This book is about army, and anecdotes are third person anecdotes, second person anecdotes, and some first person anecdotes. So aim was to tell the corporate world, and this book is relevant for a student, for a defense aspirant, for a teacher, for a homemaker mother, for a professional, working professional mother, for a youngster in a team, for a middle level leader to CEO of a company.
And we'll definitely come back to.
Sorry, I forgot his moderation.
I let you put that lead. So we'll talk about all these lessons and how we can incorporate what you've learned in army and how well they can be blended with real life, especially with the corporates today. Because people think that when we are talking about leadership, it's not only political, it has to be in everyday life. But before that, tell me, this entire title holds immense moral, gravity to it. There's loyalty, honesty, and responsibility, which is huge. So how these values, shape your conduct, not only in the uniform, but outside as well. So how do you feel that these were the values that has shaped you as the person you are today? How you conduct them in everyday life?
Thank you, ma'am. There's a little bit of story behind this title also. Some of you may have heard it in November. When the first book I wrote, Penguin was my publisher, the international brand. They didn't want the title in Hindi, Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye. And I fought with them. Ultimately at 1 in the night I sent an email, I said, then it's no deal, I'm not publishing with you. So then they came back and they somewhat reluctantly agreed to Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye. And for the second book, they came to me, sir, title Hindi mein hi hona chahiye. Because first one became a hit. But notwithstanding, Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari are three words which can incorporate every other human quality of leadership. And here I am not talking of a few pennies here and there. Just imagine a young lieutenant or a captain, or for that matter a commanding officer, telling, mere piche move. That means just walk behind me into the valley of death, and I will lead you to victory. Mission comes first always and every time. And when this man, young man or a major or a whosoever, like Jan Malik said, mere piche move, and Kargil war. So it is applicable at all levels. When this man is saying mere piche move, and these 10 people or 20 or 30 depending on the size of the team, they move behind him without questioning his ability, without questioning his leadership, without questioning his capabilities to lead them, and without questioning his physical, mental and emotional endurance. Then this man has to have it in him. And here Wafadaari is Wafadaari towards the mission, towards the goal, towards the aim. And Imaanadaari is in making that plan so honestly that they will win. It's not few dollars here and there. That is the integrity, that is the Imaanadaari. And Zimmedaari is not only of the mission, also of these men. Unki safety, unki families. Every man is surrounded by 8 to 10 immediate people. Husband, wife, brother, sister, father, and all these children. So Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari in that left-hand side has to be of utmost importance to lead these men into battle. And these are the value systems I thought if the corporate can incorporate, they will do well for themselves. That's how the title came.
Absolutely.
And the war room to boardroom is the values of war room, basically, signifying the military values, how you can incorporate in your corporate life as a boardroom.
Absolutely, sir. Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari, they are lived values. And and every officer present here is actually, showcases that how you are completely grounded. But along with that, you also mentioned the families that support you. And so, coming to that, how your family and especially ma'am coming in your life, your wife, how she anchored you through your serving years in uniform?
Thank you, ma'am, for asking this question. Family support is a very important aspect of a soldier's life. I talked about it in the first book, but in the second book I have given 2 chapters to this very important aspect. And I always say the most intense part of the second book, which is Wafadaari, Imaanadaari, Zimmedaari, are those 2 chapters. And every time a lady is at her home or in a field area accommodation where and husband is in the field area, हमारे फोन की घंटी बजती है ना, तो we are very happy कि चलो किसी का फोन आया, किसका है देखते हैं. जब उस लेडी जो staying alone with her children, जब उसके फोन की घंटी बजती है ना, she misses a heartbeat. कि अभी खबर आई कि मैम good afternoon, I have a bad news to give. And these ladies, these families, these children, they do not disturb the man on the border. That man is already going through a lot. There is enemy there is the weather there is the climate, there is the terrain, all aspects of, which are testing the human endurance. He is being tested out there, but this lady is not bothering him every day कि बच्चे के 2 नंबर आए हैं और टैब लीक कर रही है, सास ने ये बोल दिया है और वो हो गया. That is the strength. And they absorb the responsibility. In this particular book, there is a sub-chapter, Mem Saab.
Yeah.
Is it a title or is it a responsibility? And I took it from Colonel's wife who spoke in the Urvanch, Mrs. Jyoti Barmola Mamgen. Well, Mamgen is known to me. And she has written a book. And she has in the first person, I have put a thing here. She says, I was a very, charming 23-year-old girl working in a corporate, very happy with myself, self-style, lifestyle, no hindrances there, no botheration. Go do my job, come back home. And suddenly she gets married to this young army captain. And she becomes a Memsa from a junior intern or something. And she is married, 23-year-old girl, no children, nothing as that. And the unit moves out for a exercise. That is officers, Jawans, everyone goes to an exercise area. Only the ladies are left behind. A soldier's wife whom she had met during the family welfare meets. She gets a call at 9 in the night from the hospital. Ma'am, can you come to the hospital, military hospital? Now this young girl of 23 years of age goes to the military hospital and she is told, आपकी कंपनी की एक फैमिली है. In the army, lady is called family. आपकी कंपनी की एक जवान की फैमिली है जो 9th month of pregnancy में थी. The fetus has died inside the womb. Now it has to be cleaned up or cleared out. But the lady in question is not ready to accept that it has happened. And आप कंपनी कमांडर की वाइफ है, आप कुछ कीजिए. Now imagine this 23-year-old young girl, not mother as that, goes and speaks to this Jawan's wife and explain to her कि ये जरूरी है. And this Jawan's wife says, "मैम साहब अगर आप बोलते हो तो मैं मान जाती हूँ." Otherwise she was not accepting her child as died. And very, she comes back to doctor कि yes, she has agreed. And then they put up a paper in front of her. मैडम साइन कीजिए कि जिम्मेवारी आपकी है. If something goes wrong during the operation. So these are the responsibilities a man has to carry. These are the value system. And a 23-year-old girl is signing on behalf of her family or her husband or father or mother, hey, I take responsibility because she is a company commander's wife. Now, ये है जिम्मेदारी, ये है वफादारी. So this is how I feel. Family support is very intense and very much required.
Actually, for your sincere gratitude.
These
to
two
the
chapters,
author.
I said, these two chapters are heart of my book.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
And there are many other first-hand examples in that. But I thought I must say this because this is what turns, a young intern into a very responsible person.
Yes, army wives are definitely the
She is army daughter.
backbone of the military life, And the army officers fighting out there draws a lot of strength from their family, from their wives, and that's what makes the entire combination so beautiful. But in the book, sir, you also talked about lessons learned in army and how they can be, they are so contrasting in application in the corporate world. Especially the one that caught my attention was will versus skills. You said in army, it is a heart principle that talks about this principle, whereas it is a mind principle otherwise in the corporate world. So please share with us how these two approaches are different, though the principle is very simple, will versus the skill. So please.
In the management schools, they teach a theory called will versus the skill. That means person has the skill and person is willing to work. That is, he has skill, he has will, so of course he is the best employee you can get. Second is person has the skill but doesn't have the will. Third is person has the will but doesn't have the skill. And the fourth is person neither has the will nor has the skill. So in the corporate world, they will chuck out the chap, no skill, no will, because there are 10 people more lined up. In the army, we find a job for every type of a person. Because in today's operation, this person is not very relevant, or not very important, or not very qualified. But tomorrow's operation, he will be qualified. And here I also say, the weakest link in the chain is the strength of that chain. And I quote my own example here in this incident. Like, I am a non-swimmer. Most Punjabis are non-swimmers, although we are land of rivers, but generally I am a non-swimmer. I am a non-swimmer. When I joined NDA, I hardly could pass my 55 meters of swimming, and 55 meter breaststroke is the minimum required to pass out of NDA and IM, and I could do it with, I don't know, what difficulty. The young second lieutenant got posted in Sikkim, came to Rajasthan, Udaipur, battalion team, volleyball. We went to a place called Jamnagar. I was the playing member of the team. We won the team competition. And immediately after that was the basketball competition. So they sent the basketball team and told me, Danny, you keep playing there only. Officers' participation in sports is a must in army other than the contact games like wrestling, kabaddi, boxing. That's a separate. So anyway, I played the basketball also and we won. Then came the swimming competition. So the battalion sent the swimming team and they told me, Danny, wahi dekh lena. Aur they were the last event was 4 into 100 meter officers relay. And they told me 3 officers last day पे आ जाएंगे, तू वहीं पे कर लेना. Now, तू वहीं कर लेना. इसमें जैसे सब चैप्टर देख लेना कर लेना. I said this is not the way it works. So अभी now I am a non-swimmer. I don't know how to swim, but I was practicing very hard. For those 7-8 days I had at my disposal, and we had the team JCO swimmer, the Shanti Saran Singh Sahab. And he came to me, "Sir, परवाह मत करो. Officer के points के बगैर भी हम जीतेंगे. We are very good." And they are very good. Except this point that our JCOs can actually, they are very full of josh. But at times they can actually tell you, "Sir, परवाह ही ना करो, देखी जाएगी." But at the last minute, some things can always go wrong. So I was prepared for it. Anyway, now this JCO kept telling me through the competition also, we won this, we won that. And now officers relay शुरू होने से पहले I got into my swimming trunk. उससे पहले मैं कहता था जरूरत ही नहीं officers का point. Now he comes to me with a diary with something written on it. साहब ऐसे है situation अभी. सारा competition खत्म हो गए. अभी officers की team ना अगर हम last भी आ गए तो हमें 2 point मिलेंगे. अगर हम disqualify हो गए तो हमें 0 point मिलेंगे. और 2 point मिलते हैं तो हम div champion बन जाएंगे. अगर 0 मिलते हैं तो फिर हम second आएंगे. Now look at the honors on me. Now he is indirectly telling me, "Sir, अभी आपके हाथ में है." So anyway, other 3 officers they did the 100 meters. I was the 4th one, and this is the last competition. Brigadier Dhillon was the brigade commander in Jamnagar. Brigadier K.J.S. Dhillon, and he was the brigade commander. And all the officers, ladies, children, families, they are there for the last day prize distribution के बाद में. And I jumped into the pool as a 4th swimmer. वो मेरे साथ वाले जो थे वो तो करके निकल गए। मैं लगा हूँ धीरे 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 in the meeting the children came down from the stage. Uncle, please carry on, uncle, carry on. Every time I took out my head, I would hear these children trying to cheer me up. And first and the last time in my life I did 100 meters of swimming. And it didn't finish there. Why skill versus will I am saying? A person who is least skilled in that operation can also be important. That evening we had a Barakhana. Barakhana is a community meal where come and celebrate. Imagine we had people who had broken records, who had won gold medals, silver medals, this and that. But everyone is walking up to me and saying, "Sab, aapne dikha diya." But this is where skill versus will in corporate and army is different. We can motivate a man with zero skill to produce something which is wonderful.
So I'll take the liberty of saying here कि Punjabi च कहते हैं कि छोटा सिक्का भी काम आएगा. And all, as you said, Punjabis are not swimmers. गोते खाते खाते they find their way to swimming. Yes. But as you mentioned, the weakness, and we live in a world where especially our youngsters are living in a cutthroat competition. And failure is often taken as a weakness. Weakness is taken as a failure. And in this era where the youth is in a hurry to do it all and all at once, so they are not really prepared, or somehow the system doesn't prepare them to take failures well. So what do you really impart as a lesson that they are prepared to take the setbacks, because failures are not to be shied away from. They are lessons in our life.
Failure is one chapter in the book. How to handle a failure. So failure is part of life. You cannot be successful all the while, all the time. So you have to accept that failures will happen, learn from it, and become a better human being. And in today's competitive world, the youngsters who are joining the companies, they don't take ownership of their job. Because that is very important. Unless you take the ownership of the job you are doing, you will not do it well. And here again I will quote from the book only an example. I was a co-commander in Kashmir, and there was a Lieutenant Colonel Ratul Kapoor. And he was posted in the station headquarters in Srinagar only, and came across me once or 2-3 times. And we exchanged mobile numbers, and I have a habit of keeping in contact. So he remained in contact on New Year, Happy New Year, sir, Happy Diwali, Happy Holi. And suddenly, about a few months ago, I bought a television set from some online shopping portal, and the TV came, but the installation was not happening. And installation is not happening, and I kept sending messages, emails, and all that. 7-8 दिन हो गए, कुछ हुआ नहीं. So finally I tweeted with their responses and screenshots that sir, we'll do it by 24 hours, next 12 hours. And the tweet, everyone started saying, General Sahab, TV jaldi fit karo, ye karo, wo karo. So that part, and now I get a call from this Lieutenant Colonel Ratul Kapoor. After, we were together in 2019 and this is 2025. After 6 years he calls me, otherwise we only used to exchange messages. He says, sir, give me your order number. I will do something. So I said, yeah, to run, they will carry up your company. He said, no, sir, I will do something. So I said, do you have someone in that company who working and those service? He said, no, sir, I left the army. And now I joined that company from where you got this TV. So I said, फिर भी यार, तेरा काम नहीं, are you in sales or after sales? He said, no, sir, I am in some other department, not connected at all with sales. I said, then why are you bothering yourself? कोई करेगा अपने आप. You know what he tells me? He tells me, sir, 20 साल फौज में नौकरी की है, और उसने सिखाया है कि जो भी काम है ना, organization को own up करो, own up your organization. Nothing should be, nobody should be able to speak anything against the army. No one should be able to do anything. मेरे कारण से मेरी इंडियन आर्मी बदनाम नहीं होनी चाहिए. Because I carried those ethos, I mean, मेरे कारण ये company जो है is not able to give you, not from मेरे कारण. This company is not providing services to you. It is my responsibility. I take the ownership of this company. I will make sure the service is provided. And within 30 minutes, installation happened. If a veteran after 20 years in army has to come to a company and do a job someone else could not do for 7 days, when it was his or her job. This is the military leadership ethos I am saying we must transport from the war room to the boardroom. And this is how we must improve the predictability, the name of the company, or the way the companies work. So this was another example.
Yeah. So you cannot take the army away. from you.
No. Someone asked me, if you have a choice, what profession would you choose? I said, yaar, usme to koi choice hi nahi. It has to be army again
Army
all the
always
time.
army. You can't not be an army person ever. Yeah.
Out of uniform, having retired, every time I get up and get dressed up to go out of my home, the first thing which strikes me is, यार कोई ये देख के ये नहीं बोलते कि ये देखो फौजी है कैसे बात बिहेव कर रहा है, कैसे कपड़े पहने हैं, कैसे बात कर रहा है, कैसे चल रहा है. I had my spine surgery and I could have gone for a walk outside the house with the stick. I did go. I said, लोग बोलेंगे जो जवान साहब लाठी लेके चल रहे हैं. Like today, a son was saying कि पापा ले लो walking stick. ऐसा नहीं. So ये है वो फौज जो है ना जाती नहीं है आपके अंदर से. It stays.
So moving forward, we'll go toward a little fun side, but one takeaway for everyone from this book, irrespective for whichever reason they pick up the book, personal, professional, across ages, what one thing you will think that will stay with the readers of this book?
In this book, there is a chapter called Honor Code. Indian Army has ethos which are not, written, which are not dictated or which are not there in the law books. But those are the things which we do out of honor. And Zimmedaari is sitting here. There is an honor code in the Indian Army that we respect our dead enemy. In Kargil war, when Pakistanis refused to take back their dead, Indian Army under Zimmedaari gave them a decent burial as per their religious traditions. That is an honor code. In 1971 war, again I quoted in the book, 3 grenadiers was fighting in the Shakargarh Bulge. Then Lieutenant Colonel V.P. Airy was the commander, CEO of the unit, later Lieutenant General V.P. Airy. They fought operation on 16th and 17th December night, 1971. The last night, next day the ceasefire was declared. Their posts were attacked 7 times, counter-attack. Major Rashad Singh, he got the Paramir Chakra. 7 times the enemy attacked their locations to recapture the area which 3 grenadiers had captured. Finally, the commanding officer of 35 Frontier Force, Lieutenant Colonel Muhammad Akram Raza, he led the final counterattack, as CEO. He also died. And on 17th morning, when under the white flags they came to collect the dead bodies, and this young officer who had come to collect, he identified this CEO. Colonel V.P. Airy said, yes, he died as a brave soldier. He wrote a handwritten note, citation we call it, on the logbook page. Logbook is when you record the events of the telephone messages. He took out a page, wrote a handwritten note, I reproduced that handwritten note in the book and sent it along with the dead body. Go and tell he fought like a soldier and we have all the respect on his bravery. That man got some Hilale Jurat or some award like that based on that one page citation. So this is an honor code. And every organization has honor codes. We respect the ladies is an honor code. We value Juan's life more than ours is an honor code. We take the ownership of Indian Army's name, fame and Naam Namak Nishan. That is an honor code. If every organization can have certain honor codes which you follow, that is what will make your organization great. And these are not written anywhere. These are the honor codes. Means मेरी आन बान शान, मेरी पलटन की इज्जत, मेरी आर्मी की इज्जत, मेरे खानदान की इज्जत, उनसे ऊपर है ये. If I do this mistake, people will say तेरे खानदान के ऊपर तूने दबा लगाया. So this is the value of an honor code. So I talked about this in the book, and there are many of them.
So living by integrity and honor and 9 to them. But let's go a little easy and up close personal with our author.
How can the forge go easy now?
Forges are known for fun also, sir. Yeah? So we'll go do a little rapid fire and you have to answer without thinking. So we'll make the entire atmosphere a little lighter and brighter here. Yeah? Yeah. So and certain invalid questions for you. You cannot answer army, my battalion, my regiment. Invalid answers. Okay? So because it's up close and personal. Right? So, okay. Ready? Yeah. So one person in real life whom you pledge your Wafadaari. One person. Quick.
Now you name them.
No,
we as soldiers, we don't have allegiance towards any individual. We have allegiance towards the chair and the flag.
So for 5 minutes,
Individuals come and go. Commanding officer is the person whom every soldier in the unit would look up to. Commanding officer, who is the commanding officer is not important. It is the chair which is important, which is the appointment which is important. And flag, of course, Nishan.
I thought I'm going to bring...
In the olden days, your battalions or the armies used to carry their flags of the, Nishan, as the colors as they call it, through the battlefield. Sikh regiment had a history of carrying the Guru Granth Sahib also into the battlefield and establishing a Gurdwara, Mandir or temple. We all have it. So these were the value systems and they are still being followed. We may not be carrying the flags now, but we do carry that value system.
So I agree with you. Okay. So not disputing there. One person who taught you tough lessons in Imaanadaari. Name the person.
Brigadier Trimesh Mukherjee, my first commanding officer. And I had a word with him yesterday. And again, the value system, Aaj ka grandfather cannot tell his grandchild what to do, what not to do. He will say, "Pata nahi ye youngster hai, manega ki manega." I am 63 years of age. Brigadier Mukherjee must be about 82, 83 years of age, 85 years of age. I was giving a TV interview, and after the TV interview, Brigadier Mukherjee calls me up. An 85-year-old man calls up a 63-year-old man, and he said, "Very nice points you gave, this, that." In one of the points, it was about Gaza, that Gaza and Israel and all that. In one of the points, I said, "Zaka, you must know." Zaka was the anchor, and I said, "Zaka, you must know. Gaza Strip ka ye layout hai, ye." Brigadier Mukherjee calls me up after that. He says, "You had a tremendous interview and interaction, but one thing I want to tell you." I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "You never tell your host, you should know. You always say, we should know." Now imagine, that is the learning, that is the family I belong to. That is the teaching, molding. अभी तक 63 years के हो गए, अभी तक भी नहीं मानते हो, कहते नहीं सुन सीख इसको. Imagine what he must have taught me when I was like 21-year-old youngster. The first lesson I get out in the book is after CEO's interview, the first interview. After all the niceties of what parents are doing, what the other siblings and Q4 में join किया, this is Paltan की history, ये करना है, वो करना है. The last parting shot was in CEO's office in Sikkim at about 17,000 feet, 16,000 feet. Pardon my language. He says, "Tiny, if you are in touch with your profession, no son of a bitch can touch you." So that is the life lesson learned in January of 1984. I am reciting it in June of 2025. This is the learnings we had. छोटी छोटी बात जवान सबसे ज्यादा सिखाते हैं. मतलब पैटर्न ऐसे तो नहीं होता है. You are doing something, he will tell you, "ना साहब, ये नहीं होता सर, ये नहीं हो सकता."
Okay, so one last one. What do you identify yourself with most now, apart from being an army officer? A willful writer or a skillful speaker?
I spoke at when the first book got the Crossword Book Award 2024, the most popular book in the non-fiction category. And people who are competing with the book were, Sudha Murthy, Mr. Jayashankar, our foreign minister, his book, Mr. Sanyal's book and all, and Tina Muneem and all, no Tina Muneem, what's her name? Twinkle Khanna. Twinkle Khanna and all are also getting their awards. So Mr. Prahlad Kakkar and all were there, and Mr. Gopal Das, their books were getting over. And they told me, "Sir, say something." After having said for 30 odd seconds something about the book, in the end I said, I wrote this book as an aberration, so please don't treat me as an author. I continue to be a soldier. So now I've done the second aberration, which by the way again has become bestseller in the pre-order stage only. In the pre-order stage itself, it has gone for the review. So thank you very much, but I continue to be a soldier. I want to be identified as a soldier.
That's established for eternity now. So any questions, we open the floor for the audience. We can take one or two questions. Yeah.
No, it's a very difficult proposition before lunch. So I can understand that. I think we can.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. A humble request, if you are a reader or you want your children to read, this is a book to be gifted to your children and grandchildren because it sets template for success and beyond success to be a good human being. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.